So does anyone here know anybody who had health problems as a result of being in contact with mold? Dangerous, eh? Because it's like a silent killer. You can look at all the other variables, and it manifests itself. The symptoms are manifested like a common cold, a common flu, and so it's easy to kind of just dismiss. Am I correct? Did you know that marijuana grow operations leave homes structurally devastated and overrun with mold? Right? This is, we're learning more and more of this every day in the news. Am I correct? Now, for myself, outside of mold busters, I was a counselor in a residential drug and alcohol treatment program for 10 years. And we dealt with clients, from all over. And one of the things that we had to do a lot of times is take our clients to their old place of residence to pick up their property and belongings. And a lot of them were marijuana grow-ops, and it was absolutely horrendous. And so what we're seeing more and more now is that those homes are not being properly, they should be demolished, period. And they're not being properly cleaned or remediated of mold. And so people moving into these homes are walking into a huge problem. Because again, they may remove the mold on the surface, it may look and smell nice, but again, there's still that root at the bottom. And we're going to get into, at the end, if you want to know how to properly remove mold, come and see us. We'll share with you guys some really interesting tricks and tips. Again, causes of mold, all of us know these kinds of things, but leaks in pipes and roofs, so the presence of water and moisture. Cracks in walls are the foundation, all right? And that includes like in the basement, but also countertops and other areas in our home. Flooding or other forms of water intrusion, like around a toilet you will see that, or in the basement near the water tank, or other areas where that could happen. Inadequate ventilation. That's an important one. A lot of us don't think that proper ventilation will affect whether or not mold will be around in our home, and in fact that's true. We need adequate or proper ventilation, and one of the articles that we sell to small businesses, individual homes, and large companies is our Hydra Hepa filtration systems, which is a really great way of bringing the air quality level to a zero count. And what that means is that in the air, there's a large number of particles. And we have particle readers that reads how many particles are in the air at a particular moment. And you want to get to a small level, which is, or in a hospital, which is like a 0. We did a particle count at the very beginning of the meeting, just because we're geeks like that. We like to know what kind of air we're breathing in. And this room is actually, considering it was a kitchen and food was going on, was actually relatively clean. But it was still over 230 million particles in the air. Now keep in mind, a hospital is supposed to be at a 1 or a 0. So factor that if we went to one company, we won't name them, but we did a particle count again because we're geeks like that, and it was at over 400 million particles in the air. And the place looked clean, it was spotless, we didn't get sick, but poor air quality will contribute to the presence of mold, or is maybe an indicator that mold is in the air, because mold spores will contaminate the air and cause a particle count to grow. All mold is allergenic. A small percentage is pathogenic. Another small percentage is toxigenic. So not all types of mold are damaging to your health. Not all types of mold are going to kill you, but a percentage of it will. And one of the things you have to ask yourself is, is it worth taking a risk? Is it worth putting it off? Is it worth, waiting until next week to do something about it in order to find out the hard way? There are different ways that we can get exposed to mold. One of them is through inhalation, just from breathing it in. The other one is from actually touching the mold. Sometimes, we think, oh, it's just, my grandmother, again, washing the bathroom floor. Unbeknownst to her, that what she was washing was mold. Because it wasn't black, it wasn't gooey, it wasn't gross, it was just there. And so that contact caused rashes and breakouts on her skin. And again, ingestion, through food, through touching it with your hand, putting it, touching your mouth. All those kinds of ways are ways in which we could get mold into our systems and get damaging results. This is Aspergillus. Aspergillus is a type of mold that is common indoor and outdoor and causes major health problems. The most common one is this one. This is what we will see here in Ottawa the most. And it's called black mold. And why do you think Ottawa sees this type of mold the most?
The hot air from the politicians.
Hot air from politicians. Number one. There's poor ventilation in Parliament, right? Humidity. Ottawa, embraces high levels of humidity. What else? What are we close to?
Water.
A big body of water, right? The Ottawa River. So, and also we have an aging infrastructure. Simple and plain, right? So we're really in the prime area for black mold in Ottawa.
Because we're a government.
Yeah, it's true. It's because we are a government town. Now, I know we only have about 4 minutes left, so I'm just going to quickly get into some ways that we could control mold. So there are several ways to prevent mold growth, and some of it includes moisture control. So, reducing, these are things that we could do ourselves right now at home. Just reducing the relative humidity in our own home, eliminating and repairing sources of excess moisture, getting good air circulation. And that's not just like opening up a window. I mean, there's other things that we could do. We'll be happy to, again, privately tell you guys how to get the best possible air quality in your home or your business. Proper ventilation, and again, cleanliness. Did you know that we as Canadians, we spend about 90% of our time indoors? Right? Oh, except for the mountain hiker, right? But we know we do spend about 90% of our time indoors. And if air quality is a very important factor in our health and in ensuring that the potential hazards for mold are prohibited, then we need to take proactive measures in order to ensure that the indoor air that we're breathing is clean. And it's not at a particle count of 240 million or 430 million. And we're going to just close with these guys. Okay, so we again, like we said, we have state-of-the-art equipment. Part of it is, I described the thermal imaging camera, which is a non-invasive way of looking at potential moisture or cracks within the walls. We have the particle counter, which is a neat little tool that we have here today that counts the levels of particles in the air and is able to tell us how clean or how potentially hazardous the air that we're breathing is. We have moisture meters, which is again other ways to determine whether or not there are leaks in pipes under the walls or in floors, so on and so forth. And this is the Hepa the Hepa filtration system, which is an air purification machine that brings down the particle count to a zero, and it actually does this. When we were at the company that I shared with you guys earlier, a particle count of 400-something million, we turn on the purification machine, and you could see the particle count minimize. If we have the machine going and then you have the particle counter right beside it, you see the amount of particles go down in the hundreds and the thousands every second until it brought down the quality of the air to a near zero. So it's something that definitely to invest in for a home or a small business if you want to ensure proper air quality. So Mold Busters, we provide comprehensive air quality testing, mold inspection, and mold remediation services in the Ottawa-Gatineau area, and also Montreal, Toronto, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Singapore, Malaysia, and it's just going to continue to grow. So it's a good time to get on board with us. We're expanding, and we want people to partner with. We want people to get involved with us as much as they can, not only for ourselves, but for the safety of each of our homes, for our old, spry grandmothers who are in contact with mold unaware, and our children. My wife and I are in the process of having a little baby, and one of the things that we're looking at is how clean is our air? Since we're all about this, we want to make sure that our baby is going to breathe in the best possible air. So, guys, I want to thank you very much for your time. I know we didn't get into everything that we wanted to get into, and I appreciate listening to us again. If you have any questions, come and see us afterwards. We'll be happy to.
We have time for if you like now.
There you go. So.
I have.